Good evening, everybody. At this time, I'd like to ask Will Dennis if he would lead our invocation, please.
Our most gracious and kind Father in heaven, Lord, we thank you for this day. We ask that you'd forgive us, Lord, for how we've squandered it. Lord, we'd ask that you'd be with each and every home that's represented here tonight. We'd ask that you'd put your arms around us, Lord. Guide our thoughts, our hearts, and our actions, that we might be found doing the things to be pleasing in thy sight, Lord, and for the betterment of this community, Lord. Continue to be with the ones that are least fortunate than us. Remember them, Lord. Comfort them in their sicknesses. Lord, be with the lost. Thank you, Heavenly Father, for the salvation of my soul. For it's in your holy and righteous name I pray, O Lord. Amen.
Amen.
This time, I'd like to ask Leslie Overman if she'd lead the pledge. All right. Thanks, everybody, for coming tonight. I know it's wet and cold and soggy. Let's see here. One thing I'd like to ask is if you can silence your cell phones. That way we don't have any interruptions. Thank you very much. At this time, I'd like to ask Madam Clerk if you could please call our roll call.
Beverly Atwood, Tommy Belcher, Linda Bruce, Shane Burton, Alan Carmen, Brian Crook, Will Dennis, Jerry Ford, Chris Gregory, Jeff Gregory, Bubba Gregory, Landon Gully, Judy Kerr, David Nallner, Leslie Overman, Mark Presley, Amber Russell, Lonnie Taylor, David Thomas, Steve Whitaker. 19 present, 1 absent.
Alrighty, thank you very much. At this time, you guys have had enough time to review the minutes from the previous meeting from September 22nd. They've all been distributed. You've got them in your packets. If there'll be any change, no changes, I'd entertain a motion to approve. A motion by Chris and a second by Jerry. All in favor? Any opposed? All right, motion carried. Thank you. Minutes are accepted. Is there any announcements that need to be made tonight from the commission floor? Okay, moving forward, if there be no additions to tonight's agenda, I'd entertain a motion to set the agenda. Got a motion from Landon and a second from Mr. Crook. All in favor? Any opposed? Motion carried. Thank you. The agenda is now set. Citizens' response to any agenda items. If you wish to speak to the commission on any specific item of the agenda, please sign in at the podium. You'll be called to address the commission at the proper time. There's also a public comment, a time allowed or allocated towards the end of the session. We'll call you forward if you haven't done that. At this time, I'd like to ask our mayor, Jack McCall, if you could give us your report, please. Floor's yours.
Be glad to. We did receive a contract from the state, a grant in the amount of $100,000, which is a non-matching grant to continue our brownfield project to do investigation of the PEDS building, the former roller rink, and the depot and the downtown hotel. So they'll be evaluating those 3 buildings going forward. I received a notification from the state that the bridge project down on Broadway has been contracted to Bell Construction Company. There's a meeting next week at 1 o'clock in Gallatin with all the players, so that project will go forward fairly quickly now. We're beginning to move forward on the Ward School project. We had a construction company provide volunteers about 3 or 4 weeks ago that came in and completely cleaned out the Ward School. As a matter of fact, they filled up 5 roll-off dumpsters, and so it's in a position now that we can go ahead with that project. Our architect had contracted a company to do the lead-based paint and asbestos study, but the state stepped in and volunteered to do that for us at no cost. So far, we've really been able to save some money on that project. The Goose Gala was very successful, raising a significant amount of money that will be used to continue to improve the downtown. I'm meeting with Jim Langford from Spirit Architecture tomorrow as we continue to move forward on looking at the land that's available, and possibly by December have firmed up a floor plan on the jail, but that's still going forward. That's all I have this evening.
Thank you very much. Does anybody have any questions for the mayor? Okay, has all signed the clipboard up there or the sheet that intends to sign it for the evening? If so, can I ask you, Mr. Crook, if I can have that from you? Thank you. Committee and board reports. Parks and Rec met on October 14th. Commissioner Gregory, could you please speak to that for me, please?
Yes, we did have a meeting on October 14th, a pretty lengthy discussion. Mr. Salee presented the pool financial numbers for the 2025 pool season. We lost $33,173. He cited lifeguard bonuses, water leak, electric bills were the biggest reasons for the increase from the September meetings. That we'd had a figure, but it wasn't the final numbers like this. So 33,173 was the final number for the loss of the pool for the 2025 season. Just more or less, we try to bring it in front of the commission tonight just to determine if we do want to try to open a pool for the next coming year. Amy Thomas noted that any process for replacing pool would have to be bid out. Salee estimated entirely a new pool might be $600,000 to $700,000. Then Amy said that the local Parks and Recreation Fund grant from State of Tennessee application window will be open in January. If the county gets that grant, it could be used possibly to build the pool if we decide to go further. Percentage of the county match is currently unknown on that. And also the mayor mentioned that the WTN radio property may be available for purchase in the future, which would help with parking situation. It was a motion made for the mayor to explore purchase of the radio property to go further with that. And that's about it. I'd like to schedule a meeting for November the 13th if that's available, where we can elect new officers for this coming year, if that's open date. And that's all I've got.
She's going to check on that calendar real quick and get right back to you in a second. Could do 7 p.m. on November 13th. Fine, we'll set it. Thank you, sir. We had Public Works met on October 14, and David Thomas is not here this evening. Would that be Alan Carmen? Can you speak to the meeting? That's fine. Do we have the minutes from that anywhere? Andy? Beverly, can you please? Yes, thank you so much. David, okay.
So basically, our main discussion was in regards to the mattress disposal. Apparently there had been some issues with it. we were looking at 20 to 30 mattresses being dumped a week, although about 50 to 60 a month. And so signs have been put out. They were charging $20 a month for those. If one is found in a dumpster that has not been properly disposed of, it's a $50 charge to the county, I do believe. I don't have my glasses on, so. I know Cliff and them had to shut down some of it because there was quite a few vulgar comments made to the staff, and so they shut it down. But apparently, as of right now, everything is kind of like working its way out. We're going to continue with the $20 billing to the customers. I think Cliff is working with the sheriff's department on any illegal dumping and going from there. But as of right now, it's pretty much working its case out. On buildings, they finished and sanding some of the floors, I think downstairs. The chamber has funded most of that. Public Works has done most of the labor. Mr. Thomas had asked about the administrative building where there was been an incident with some of the front columns. Those are not load bearing, so it's kind of like up in discussion of whether or not those columns will go back the way they were, or if they'll just be kind of like refurbished, redone how they are. Other discussion. Apparently, Mr. Sully, he's lost the county jailer that was working with the inmates that doing away with the cardboard, but his local guys are doing that. They're picking it up and being able to work it through the process on the same day. So they'll revamp that spring, summer. And that was pretty much the consistency of our meeting.
Thank you. Does anybody have any questions for Beverly? Okay, moving forward, Budget and Finance met on October 20. Landon, can you please speak to that for us, sir?
Certainly, we did meet last Monday night. You've got quite a few items on the here tonight. The all of which can be taken as one motion. They were taken last week as one motion. There were none that were heavily discussed. Most are school. Really, that was the main pieces on it. There was a discussion on the walking track, which is needing some paving work, waiting on, we were hoping to get some of that moving, and Mr. Slee's trying to get some numbers together for that. So we do not have anything to bring to at this time. We had discussed it, but not going to be here. But if there's any item individually, we took the trustees' cash balance and the financial summaries, and they were all accepted. Of course, in that meeting, it was our quarterly. So we also had a purchasing, which is made up of the 5 members that were originally on that committee, I believe is the way that's set up. And the first quarter purchasing was approved. All purchases that were over, I believe, Miss Amy, you can correct me on this. I believe that's any purchases that are over 10,000. Is that correct? 5,000. So all of those that were made during that first quarter have been approved through that committee. So that was pretty much it. Are there any items that anybody wants to discuss?
Thank you so much. Oh, yeah, go ahead, David.
I forgot to call it up on the announcements while ago. We'll have the police committee meeting will be on the 13th at 6 o'clock.
Thank you very much for setting it. Yes, sir. Yeah, thank you. Anybody else have anything moving forward?
Audit will meet on November the 4th at 6 o'clock at the mayor's office.
Okay, the 4th at 6 o'clock. Thank you. Okay, moving on to active business. Resolution 2025-14-832, which are the subcommittee appointments, which are on page 16, 17 of your packets. This resolution is to establish the commission subcommittees for its fiscal year upon passage appointments will begin November 1st. Are there any questions or concerns for the committee assignments? Just for clarification, we did keep, one more time, I'll make sure everybody knows, we kept all the subcommittees intact as they were with the members. We had to add a couple here and there, move, but nobody was taken off of anything because everybody has a lot of active business that they're trying to get through, and there's no reason to upset that at this point. There was a decision made to, last year, we made the decision to try and streamline things since everybody that was in the first responders EMS community, it was thought that we could combine those and try and streamline it so they didn't have a lot of the same members didn't have to go to, attend 2 meetings. But due to the fact that both of those communities have so much going on at this time, it was kind of felt that they need to have their own individual forum so that law enforcement is not necessarily having to commingle theirs with EMS and EMS with law enforcement. That way they can go back to having their own forum. We tried it for a year, but we feel that it's best that they have their own forum. As I stated, EMS is only going to be required to have a meeting quarterly, but they're welcome to have one at any time they need to have one if they've got active business to be dealt with. Same with any other committee. Steering will meet when there's active business, not necessarily every month we don't meet, but usually if there's active business coming forward, we will have those meetings. We thought that we would get an impartial person to organize the first law enforcement meeting, and then you can hold your elections then and decide who's going to take over that committee. But everybody on the law enforcement committee are the same ones that were on the first responders. So nobody was moved, shifted, deleted, or anything in that nature. Is there anybody's questions regarding subcommittees before we vote on these? Okay, I'll take a motion at this time. Do I have a second? A second from Linda. Electronic vote, so we'll please vote on our device, please. Yes.
17 yes, 2 no.
17 yes, 2 no. Motion carried. Thank you very much. With the approval of the committees, are there any meetings that also need to be announced beyond what we've already discussed this evening so far? Okay, moving forward. Resolution 2025-15. I'm sorry, I didn't see that.
Sorry, I was just looking at my calendar. I'll go ahead and schedule a personnel committee for November the 4th. I want to make it clear, we do not have anything that we're going to discuss except electing officers.
Okay,
Okay?
thank you. Anybody else have anything at this point? Okay, moving forward. So the list is audit, codes and zoning, public works, law enforcement, budget, finance, and first response services. Okay, thank you. Oh, and while we're on the topic, before I do move to the next resolution, we discussed this during work session, leaving budget and finance and everybody as is, but during the budget hearings, all commission is invited to be part of the budget hearings. If you are attending the budget hearings, your stipends will include your attendance for that, those subcommittee meetings for that. And the reason being is that way everybody in the commission has some skin in the game, some ownership of it, so that, the 8 people or so that's on that committee, they don't necessarily have to share the, the brunt of all of it, that we're all in that and together. We all vote on the budget as it comes through. But if there's a topic that's coming up or a portion of the budget, you're welcome to attend always, but this way it's so that your time is appreciated and it's encouraged. So everybody is to be involved on the budget hearings when that comes up this next year. All right, moving forward, resolution 2025-15-833. ECD road names. You will find that on pages 18, 19. This resolution is to provide some private drives in the county with a name for emergency services. This resolution does not designate these as county-maintained roads, to make that clear. Are there any questions from the commission regarding this? Chris? We have a motion to approve. Do we have a second from Jerry? We do. Thank you very much. This will also be electronic vote. So if you'll please register on your device as soon as the ballot's ready. Thank you. Okay, all votes in, 19 yes, 0 no. Motion carries. Thank you so much. Sorry. Looks like we're moving on to ordinances, public hearing, or entering into our public hearings for the following 5 ordinances. Ordinance 333, 2025-20, rezoning A1 to C1 on Highway 10. Ordinance 334, 2025-21, rezoning A1 to R1, Greenwood Hollow. Ordinance 335, 2025-2022, rezoning M1 R2 to R2, Harrod Lane 1. And then ordinance 336, 2025-23 is to annex a parcel to the Urban Services District. And that is, yes, we've got that in our packets as well. And then ordinance 337, 2025-24, which is the maximum allowable number of liquor and package stores. Is there anyone who wishes to speak to any of these ordinances? Is there anybody that wishes to speak? Is there anybody wishing to speak? At this time, we'll take a motion from the commission to close these public hearings. Got a motion from Jerry? Sorry, Leslie? No, was it Beverly? Thank you. Jerry Ford and Beverly was our first and second, please. Thank you. All righty. All in favor? All right. Any opposed? Hearing is now closed. Thank you. We now enter into the second reading, moving into the second reading for the 5 previous ordinances. Ordinance 333, 2025-20, rezoning A1 to C1 on Highway 10, which is on pages 22 through 26 of your packets. Is there any questions from the commission regarding this? I'll take a motion from the commission to Jerry, and I got Chris. Electronic vote on your device, please, on this one. Please register when the ballot's ready.
Mm, 17 yes, 2.
Okay, the answer, we have 17 yes, 2 no, so it's carries. Thank you so much. Moving on to ordinance 334, 2025-21, rezoning A1 to R1, Greenwood Hollow. You're going to find this in pages 27 to 31 of your packets. Are there any questions from the commission regarding this? Okay, at this time, I'll take a motion from the commission to move forward. Motion to approve and a second from Bubba Gregory. This will also be an electronic vote. You will please record on your devices when it's ready.
Yes, 0.
Okay, the results are 19 yes, 0 no. Motion carries. Thank you again for that. We will now move to ordinance 335, 2025-22, rezoning M1 R2 to R2 on Harrod Lane. This is on pages 33 through 37 in your packets. Are there any questions from the commission on this one regarding this one? Chris? Got a motion from Chris to approve, got a second from Beverly. You'll record this on your device as soon as the ballots are ready. Thank you, Jeff. There is a place on there yeah.
Um, 17 yes, 1 no, 1 abstain.
So the results are 17 yes, 1 no, 1 abstain. This carries. Thank you again for that, everybody. Appreciate you. Next up is ordinance 336, 2025-23. This is to annex a parcel into the Urban Services District. This is on pages 39 through 41 in your packets. Is there any questions from the commission at all regarding this one? No. At this time, I'll entertain a motion from the commission. Got a motion and a second from Jerry. Got a motion from Beverly, please. We'll record this on your device, please. Thank you, Jeff. Mhm.
17 yes, 1 no, 1 abstain.
So the results are 17 yes, 1 no, 1 abstain. So the motion carries. Thanks again, everybody. I do appreciate the cooperation. And then we go to ordinance 337, 2025-24, which is addresses the maximum allowable number of liquor and package stores. You're going to find this on page 43 of your packets. At this time, are there any questions from the commission regarding this? Yeah, Mr. Whitaker.
Yes, Chair. The way I understand it, there's no law right now that determine the maximum or the minimum amount, right? It's just no law on the books, right, at all. So are we going to set limits? What are we actually doing? I mean, we don't want a liquor store in every corner. What are we actually?
So apparently in our, in the past, it has been a bit of a contradiction of terms. So this is just defining that there isn't really a limit, but then they would have to fit within the zoning confines. So you couldn't necessarily put one on every corner, but that just says that they legally aren't able to say there's only 2 allowed and that's it, no more. I guess as the county grows and our community grows and the amount of population increases, they would have to follow, the adequate zoning before they could apply to put something like that in.
Okay.
And Mr. Thomas is not here to speak to it. It is his, but I believe that is the crux of it. Anybody else, please? Yeah, Chris.
If memory serves, I think we had something on the books and there was some kind of court ruling that basically decided that we couldn't enforce it. So this is basically removing that old one from the books and acknowledging that as long as it fits the zoning, they pretty much can have it.
Anybody else? This time I'll take a motion from the commission. I'm sorry, I didn't see it. Okay, so Bubba, you have the motion to approve. Do I have a second? I have a second from Commissioner Carmen. Okay, you'll please record these on your device when the ballot's ready. Thank you. Thanks, everybody. The results in 14 yes, 4 no, 1 abstain. So this carries. Thank you again for your cooperation. That concludes those. Moving forward to budget amendments. These are on pages 46 through 55 of your packets. All of these amendments may be taken in one motion, should that be the will of the body. Are there any questions from the body regarding any of these amendments that need to be looked at individually?
Second.
The motion and a second from Leslie Shebeedy. You'll please record your votes on this on the device. Sir.
Take them all.
Take them all as one. Take and approve. Okay. Results 19 yes, 0 no. Again, thank you very much for this. At this time, we're down here to notary applications. Miss Rita has provided me with a list of our new notaries, and this month it will be Carrie Kemp with Core Civic, Antoinette Reasonover with Steed Brothers Contractors, C. Rena Watts with Core Civic, and Stephen L. Smith with Cracker Barrel.
Motion to approve.
All right, we have a motion and a second. All in favor? Any opposed? Thank you. Motion carries. Okay, here we go. Under the next topic, we have our other business here. This is the introduction of the combined zoning regulations, which is on page 56. Sorry. There was a link that we all received that gives us basically this outline electronically, and then if you needed a hard copy, you could have went to see Miss Rosalie this last week. Rick Gregory was here at the work session and presented this as an overview of the document. No action is being taken tonight, but I really want the commission to have ample time to review these and ask any questions. Are there any questions or any concerns regarding this to be noted tonight before we move forward on this one? Okay, so when you get your opportunities, please continue to review those. Next order of business is the county swimming pool. We do have some people that have signed in regarding this. Parks and Recreation Committee has debated on what to do about the community pool. The recommendation from the committee is to close it for the 2026 pool season. Director Cliff Saley has stated that several repairs are needed to ensure a safe environment. And to my understanding, the pool as it stands right now is probably in the condition that it can't really be opened as it is for the next season. The committee voted not to open for this next season, and Ms. Thomas is working through a rough estimate of what the renovations would look like versus exploring a grant and the opportunities to come up with some money to assist with that program. But that would not be able to be done for the 2026 pool season. The pool has always been a service to this community, has always been a service to this community. As a service to this community, it's normally operated at a loss from $10,000 to $15,000 a year. This past season, we have a loss showing at greater of $33,000. It's going to get worse because as we have to, we're constantly having to add water because it's losing a tremendous amount of water. All the fresh water that gets added has to be retreated. The process of retreating it is extremely expensive. On top with that added in and on top of the fixed expenses of operating the pool. So as it stands in its current condition, reopening it in 2026 is just It's not even a feasible, thought to be having. We have to look at what we're going to do in the future regarding it, but the 2026 season appears to be somewhat off the table on that. I open the floor to discussions from any of the commission at this time, and then we'll go to the public. Does anybody from the commission have anything they'd like to say to it? Miss Linda?
I just wanted to say, I totally understand not wanting to lose money. But I've had several people, as a lot have, reached out trying to figure out a way to repair it or to get a new one. So when it was first brought up about totally closing it didn't set well with a lot of people. But if there is some kind of plan and grants like that, then that would probably be a step moving on for them.
Yes, 100%. I think the intention is not to just, at this point, is not to just close it and do away with it, but I think the intention is to look and research all opportunities to find grant monies to help us move forward with this. But it's more of, it's a safety thing, not just a cost thing. It's a safety thing. The pool is in such bad repair. So at this time, sorry. Chris, go ahead, sir.
I have to concur with Linda over there. The vote in committee was not unanimous. But I don't necessarily like the fact that it lost that much money either, but the pool has always been something done as a service to our community, and the financial part really has not been a huge concern among the commission, even previous commissions. Now, I certainly understand that fixing it and opening it, fixing what we have now and opening it probably is not an option. But we do, we can look at replacing it. We have $500,000 roughly in ARPA remaining. We have a capital projects fund that could be allocated to replacing it. Now, it's been said in here as a body with that ARPA that we've done a lot of stuff with ARPA, but we haven't really done much for the community. This would be something for the community. And I would prefer to see us look at replacing it and at least seeing if it could be done to have it in 2026.
Does anybody else have anything for the commission? Yes, Commissioner Carmen.
My understanding from Cliff is the pool is dangerous. That's why it does not need to open in its shape. He has told us that anywhere between $250,000 to $300,000 to get it to the state it needs to be to open. Exactly.
And this season.
This is like they said, this is for the 26 year. It's not closing indefinitely. It's basically buying time to figure out what we can do. And the problem here is if we're going to fix it for next year, it's got to be done right now. And yeah, we got a little money back for others, but there's a lot of things that we need to spend that money on that benefit so many more people.
Thank you, sir. Is there anybody else? Mr. Gregory.
I invited Mr. Salee here tonight. He's here. If any of the commissioners got any questions for him, he's the one that deals with the pool every day. And I mean, he's here. If anybody's got any questions for him, and I appreciate you coming, Cliff.
Mr. Ford.
My concern is is it just a leak? Is that the problem? Okay, because a leak can be fixed. That ain't no big deal. I don't know what all the problems are.
So the problem is, Jerry, where it has been leaking and leaking to the amount for so long, it has undermined the soil under it, which has compromised the structural integrity of the pool as a whole. That water has to go somewhere. And if you understand how hydraulic pressure works, the amount of that water that has leaked at an astronomical amount over the last several years has completely hollowed out underneath that pool. And it's in a state of complete decline right now. It's soft and spongy. The surface underneath there is, And spending $250,000 to open it for 1 year is absolutely fiscally irresponsible. And it's not safe on top of that, just to be clear. Does anybody have any questions for Mr. Seeley? Yes, Alan?
I'd just like to ask Mr. Lee, just come up here and basically give us his knowledge on everything that's going on with it.
Cliff, if you could come forward, please, sir. Thank you. Judy?
Yes, we may not need to spend the money to repair it, but we can go on and make plans this year, get someone hired to start as soon as they can, early next year, and have a pool for next year, for 26. This coming summer, whatever the year that is.
It wouldn't be possible to get that much amount done before May of next year. It would be 27. The amount of time that it has to send things out to bid to get things done, to follow the law on this right here, it would take us a whole lot longer than just that amount of time. We've looked at this. Cliff, please.
Okay, so I'm sorry, I'll have to clear my throat a lot tonight. The pool was refurbished in 2011. When they refurbished it, they told us that it would have a 10-year lifespan. So it's gone well beyond its expected life. Some of the stones around the outside edge of the pool, especially in the high traffic areas, are coming loose, and they're a fall off into the water type hazard. There's several of them that way that are loose. The tiles around the kiddie pool and the adult pool have been popping off for the last 2 years. We've been grouting them back on every year, and last year we had to close the kiddie pool 6 or 7 times for 2 or 3 days at a time to let the grout dry out and cure, so we could let them get back into the pool. There's several different things that we have to look at when we redo this pool. If we're going to redo it in the same spot, there'll be a lot of work to be done to the understructure. And a lot of things that we're not thinking about is when we rebuild this pool, we have to go back with new rules. That means it'll have to have an ADA lift chair on the side of it somewhere. There's several other things that'll have to take place before we can open the pool again. Some suggestions have been brought up that we fill that one in, make a deck area out of it, and dig the pool in another spot. And that would be good too, but it's going to cost a whole lot more money. The pool deck itself has been there since the pool was built there. So that deck has to come up. That's where all your plumbing is for both pool systems. So it'll have to be replumbed. 4 of the big filters that are in the pump room now are the originals. 3 years ago, we had to replace the kiddie pool filter, which was the same size, because the sand swirling in there all the time, it's like a sandblaster, and it's just constantly eating the fiberglass out of it. And the kiddie pool filter just actually fell over. And I think it was about a $1,700 repair to get that fixed. So that times 4 is just going to be a lot more money than we're thinking about than just replacing a pool. There's so much more involved in it. And I went back home fall break, and the city I grew up in is not Tennessee, but they just had redid their pool. I'm going to reach out to their public works department and see if they maybe got a grant. Their charges as far as getting in is so much cheaper than ours. It's $1 for young kids, $2 for teenagers, and $3 for adults. And it's a brand new swimming pool. It's a very nice swimming pool. I got pictures to show on our next public or Parks and Rec meeting, but it's not just a swimming pool we're talking about here. It's the entire outfit. It's just going to be so much more money than what we think it's going to be. And I'm all for fixing a pool and having a county pool, but as a taxpayer, I'm concerned that it's just more than we can tolerate right now. So I'll answer any questions.
Chris?
One quick, if we replace, like if we dug out, we fixed underneath what we currently had now, we had, the Parks Committee had two quotes in January, February, basically for digging out and replacing what was there. That one was about 140, the other was about 200. How much more do you think it cost to go into there and fix the ground underneath where the pool currently is, if that was what was decided on?
May I answer part of that for you, Cliff? Having worked building pools myself when I was in college, you have to go into undisturbed land to build a pool. Each gallon of water weighs 8 pounds. How many gallons of water is that in that pool? 225,000 gallons of water times 8. That's a lot of weight. You cannot build a pool in backfill. That pool, I spoke to Woody Badger. They built that pool largely on backfill. Backfill is not good for that amount of weight. So if you fixing that pool in its current condition with the amount of undermining that has happened from all of that washout, you have to move it over. It has to be moved over. You have to be on undisturbed earth for it to hold that kind of weight to get anything more than 3 to 5 years out of a $250,000 repair. Now, at this time, I'll turn it over to Cliff.
I wouldn't have an exact figure on what that would cost or even get close because we hadn't been into it to see what the damage is. It could be major and it could be a couple shovel loads of dirt. There's just no way of me guessing that. If I was going to rebuild it, I would move it the same way Commissioner Taylor voted, is to have it moved to a different location, just because we're going to have to replace the deck. We're going to have to replace the plumbing. We're going to have to do all this stuff, whether we stay there or move. And I like the idea of turning that into a big pavilion center to where people that, we have birthday parties there, but it's so cramped and confined. A lot of people has been to birthday parties there in here or had a birthday party there. And it would be nice if we had a big pavilion over the old pool area to where people could hang out and stay in the shade and enjoy a good birthday party. But it's just going to be a lot of money. I'm all for it. As far as being the public works director and Parks and Rec, I'm all for it because we love to see the kids in the park. That's what it's there for. And we really enjoy what we do over there. It's not, I've told all of my commissioners that I spoke to about this before, it don't matter to me what we do, but we don't mind doing that at all. So.
Thank you, sir. Does anybody else have anything?
Mr. Chairman, if I might speak to it for a minute.
Yes, go ahead. I'm sorry.
I think a couple of things we need to kind of go back and think about for a minute, that we have a state-of-the-art playground down there, and all of us know that was a $1.2 million project with a 50% match. The next key is and every 5 years, we're supposed to have an updated plan for our park, which is coming up soon. Once that is in place, we will be in line for the next set of grants to make improvements to the park. At that point in time, with citizens' input, this commission will have the opportunity to make a decision as to what improvement you would like to make in the park at this time. In talking about what we could do for next year, I've had to learn as mayor that there's a concept called the speed of government and the speed of construction. I can tell you now that the bridge project on 141 is going to probably be set back another year or two because of some unforeseen situations they run into. So I think we need to think in terms of and not if, but when, and my position on this is a county pool or a city pool is a very important part of recreation for a county. I've had commissioners from other counties to call me to emphasize the fact that if you can have a pool, it is a great asset. If only to teach kids to swim. But I think we need to think in terms of, I think a large grant is the key. A significant match will probably be a part of it, up to 50%, maybe less. But getting this new plan in place possibly looking at that radio station land, which the recommendation has just been to the mayor's office to pursue it, to see if it's a possibility. But we just need to lay our ears back, and we have, in the last 3 years, developed some really strong relationships with TDEC and state agencies. We're in a great position to apply for these grants, and I think that's what the key is. That's where the key is, which we will continue to pursue.
Thank you, sir. Anybody have any questions for the mayor? Alan?
I was just, something I felt like I remembered, that the biggest cost of operating a pool was payroll. And we had to increase the pay to have people to work. And you got to have those people there, and you need attendance, and attendance just wasn't enough to even come close. And so even if you do, you can still have a new nice pool. If you don't have the attendance, you're still going to be $25,000-$30,000 loss because of payroll.
Understood. And I've heard from members of the community myself that one of the biggest reasons for the downturn in the attendance is due to the fact that there's just clearly nowhere for the adults to sit. If you have a birthday party, there are parties that are down because there's nowhere, there's no picnic tables, there's nothing there. There's no room for that. And that's totally understood. You know, that's one of the reasons that there was a bit of a downturn. Not 100%, but that's one of the reasons for the downturn. This is something that, as we go into the master plan for the park, where we need to look at all of that and take that all into consideration going forward. Does anybody else have anything regarding this? Do you have anybody have any questions for Cliff or anybody? Yes, Linda.
I just, real quick, I know that there was quite a bit of rain this summer too that delayed a lot of people swimming and coming out, so that kind of contributed a little bit.
Absolutely. I personally am still dealing with the rain in a project myself. So yeah, I know what you're saying. At this time, I'd like to call Jim Falco. You've signed in to speak, please. 3 minutes. We'd like to keep everybody limited to about three minutes if we can, so for the order of, we're going to try and limit everybody to about 3 minutes if we can. Thank you, sir.
District 1, just for the record. I want to thank the commission for giving me an opportunity to speak to you tonight. I read the article in the last issue of the Vidette summarizing the last meeting of the Parks and Recreation Committee. According to the article, the committee recommended closure of the pool for the next year. I'm here to urge you to delay a final decision on that and send this issue back to the committee for further review. As mentioned by others, the value of the committee is that it is an asset that attracts families to this county. There are a number of studies which show that communities that operate pools in the summer experience lower juvenile crime rates. In addition to serving the youth in this community, there have been aquatic exercise courses targeting the older population of our community. So this facility serves a number of purposes. The estimated cost of filling the pool, digging a new one, so forth, seems to be pretty rough. I think the nature of the conversation tonight bears that out. I would mention one other source of funding that you might consider. There is a source of funding that will come to the county next year, a year from now, due to the expanded operation of Enbridge. I'm told that those funds will be in excess of $2 million, more than any of the amounts discussed here for the pool renovation tonight. So that's another source of funding that hasn't been considered. As to the shortfall of the funds to operate the pool, according to former Mayor Cawthorn, who was in charge, city mayor, when the pool was built, it was never designed to be a moneymaker. It was meant to enhance the quality of life of our county and to attract new residents here. I'd suggest the Parks and Recreation Committee might look at adjusting the operational model for the pool to come closer to breaking even. Some suggestions were made here tonight along those lines. Finally, I would point out that in this county, there are no scout troops, there are no YMCA chapters. These are valuable organizations that, again, enhance our community and reduce juvenile delinquency rate. Closing the pool would make it less likely for these kind of organizations to come to the county. I would also note that recently the assisted living facility in Hartsville announced it was closing. If the pool closes, there will be no opportunity for exercise classes for our older folks. This will further diminish the incentives to remain here during their later years. In summary, I would urge the commission to send back the recommendation to the committee for further study to develop a complete plan as to what it wants to do with the pool and identify the sources of funding necessary to carry out the plan they recommend. This concludes my remarks, and I thank the commission for allowing me to speak. Thank you.
Thank you, Jim. Next, I have Keith Fry.
Keith Fry. I appreciate the opportunity to speak here. I didn't realize that this was like virtually, we've already decided we're not going to do this with the pool meeting. I thought it was going to be an open floor, but from a lot of y'all's comments, it's like it's a done deal, not planning on doing it. But I would like to say this. I would like to, first off, there was some statements made in the paper in that issue that I would like some clarity on before I start talking. Number one is, I'm understanding about the dangers of the pool because there's a hole underneath it. I understand that now. The idea of being built on backfill, I'm not understanding really, and I'll talk about that in a minute. But the idea of it, that the site is tainted. Now, that's like trying to put a real scary taste in the public's mind as to the site is tainted. Now, I would like an understanding explanation of, have we got lab results or anything from soil samples that show that there's asbestos, there's arsenic, there's benzene, just what's in the soil that's causing the site to be considered tainted? Because that's a very alarming word used in the newspaper for all us public. Is there anybody that can answer that?
I can tell you that the site is not tainted chemically with any kind of biohazards or anything of that type. It's merely that the water, hydraulic pressure of the water leaking has undermined leaking. The water had to go somewhere. It's gone all the way over to the tennis courts and has caused them to break apart as well.
Understood there, but the idea of tainting, saying it's tainted, that in the public's mind, that's what you're going to say it's what it is, you know? Not that it's just undermined.
Yeah, we don't write the paper.
I understand, but it's supposedly quotes. But okay, so my next question is this. How many, if I could see just a show of hands, is there any of y'all in here that currently or ever have had a gunite, i.e. concrete pool? Owned one? 3 of you? Okay. All right. Has any of you that owned one of these pools ever had a crack go on the bottom of it from one side to the other that had to be repaired that you owned? Anybody? Just you? Okay. I myself have also had one. I had the pool for 22 years. I built it. My son currently owns a house down there in Louisiana now, so he's had it for another 11 years. So 33 years, my swimming pool has been there. It's a gunite pool. Less than a month after it was built, the floor cracked all the way across it. Okay? Pool company did a great deal. They came in, they chipped it back, they cut all the plaster back to get to it, and they put a new floor in over a certain area where they tied the rebar into the walls, re-gunite it, resealed it, replastered it, and you know what? To this day, that pool has never cracked again. 33 years, that pool has not cracked again. And it's a quite big pool. It's about 2/3 of the size of the one here. Okay?
So the thing would be, sir, is your pool, was it built on backfill where the ground was settling under it?
This pool was built in southern Louisiana blackjack mud
Okay,
and at 0.1 feet above sea level. We had to pump water out of the ground just to be able to continue to pour the concrete. This is southern Louisiana Cajun blackjack mud. It's not worth anything. It either swells or it shrinks. And you get your feet in it, you can't get out of it, okay? You're stuck. So as far as ground sturdiness, it's not, okay? And if in those pools there, if you ever didn't keep it, the pump running underneath it, when you go to fill it, so that it pumps the water out below the pool pop up, it float, okay? That's how bad that soil is. This soil up here is nothing wrong with it. I mean, if we want to call it backfill, it's still better than that. If we want to call it backfill, how about the pools built in southern Florida in the sands? Those don't have solid foundation either. We got rock and good dirt up here.
understood. Sir, respectfully, we have passed our.
I understand.
Thank you so much. And next, we do have Keith Fry. I would say we now have Tracy. Can you please come forward, please?
Hello, my name is Tracy Ademzik, and I love the Hartsville pool. We use it. My little granddaughter right there, she was not but a month old and swimming in that pool this summer. We enjoyed it so much every day that it was so hot that you couldn't stand it. That was our saving grace, to just get in that pool. And a lot of counties are choosing to close pools down. And it's very sad to see, like this gentleman spoke right here, I agree 100%. You take away this out of this county, even for a year. The kids don't have anything to do. What do? They get into trouble. I myself use the pool. My family uses the pool. Mr. Fry that just spoke, he uses the pool. The summers are not getting cooler, they're getting hotter. We need the pool. If we close it down for a year, I've seen it happen too many times. Then it's next year it's closed, the next year until it's all forgotten. Right now, I've talked to so many people that don't even know that pool exists. I don't know why. Maybe it's advertisement, but I have a lot of good ideas about the pool, maybe changing the hours to later in the day when people can actually enjoy it coming home from work, not closing it so early. In Lebanon, they stay open till 7 or 8 o'clock at night so that families can enjoy it and not during the day. Don't keep it open. Don't pay people to work there like they talked about. The funding isn't there to pay the people. Maybe we should change the hours. Also, August is the hottest month. Kids go back to school in August. What about leaving the pool open after school? When the kids are out of school, pay a lifeguard that's from the school. I've talked to the lifeguards that work there. The girl, very ambitious girl that worked there this summer said she would love to have more hours. It's a job. It's a job for kids. You take it away, you take away job for kids. There's not a whole lot for kids in this area. So to feel emotional about this, it's very emotional. Losing sleep over it, the one gentleman said, I read it in the paper, he said he lost sleep over it. I understand that because this is very upsetting. It's very upsetting. I just feel like there's a way, if we have to raise funds, some way to get creative, create a committee to raise the funds. I will help. I will dedicate my time to help. But I'm just saying, there are ways. And I believe that if you don't use the pool yourself, then maybe that's part of the problem, that you're not experiencing the loss. But if you do use this pool and these kids use this pool, I feel like I'm speaking for them. They're not here tonight. I don't know why. Maybe people just don't show up because they don't know. But in my opinion, there's a lot to fight for here. And these kids, if we can change the hours and leave the pool open during August month, or get memberships. Let's get family memberships.
Ms. Tracy, we do have family memberships. We have all those programs in place. At this time, we have eclipsed the 3 minutes, but I would encourage you to please come to our Parks and Recreation meeting and bring your stuff with you. That would be a great forum for that. Nobody on this commission wants to make this go away. We're just looking for the time to find a solution to continue. That's where it's at. None of us enjoy this at all.
Yeah.
Does anybody have any questions for anything about this?
I was just gonna say that the Parks and Rec, I don't know if she heard it earlier, but it meets November the 13th at 7 PM here.
We're going to meet at November 13th, 7 PM in here, if you want to come back.
Okay, I just want to say one more thing. In my experience this past summer, the attendance was really, really low. There was hardly any kids there. Every time we went, it was empty. That concerned me. I feel like a lot of people aren't aware or don't have maybe access somehow for some reason. We need to figure that out too. Because attendance, bringing up attendance and lowering the cost of the pool
Understood.
is the key. Thank you very much. I'm sorry, what did you say that the meeting was?
The 13th at 7 PM.
And it's basically doing the
In
same
this
thing
room,
we're
yeah.
doing tonight?
It's a Parks and Recreation Subcommittee meeting. That's going to
Okay.
be on the 13th. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you so much. So lastly, we have Dylan. Would you like to come speak, sir? Yeah, state your name and everything there.
Dylan Adams. Good evening. Thank you all for listening. I definitely agree with everything that's been said this evening. I do think there does need to be a solution found maybe to keep the pool open this year if possible. I don't know if they can do core sample drilling to find out exactly how washed out the pool is underneath. You know, I do know that I'm not in the concrete business, but I do know that concrete companies, as far as foundation repair, actually have the ability to drill small invasive holes and then fill that underneath with a concrete support. It's kind of like a mortar, thick mortar sand mixture. Maybe that's an option that would be less invasive and therefore keeping the pool open in 2026. I do believe the pool is definitely an insurance policy. I see, you know, the children around here definitely need something to do. And, you know, I hear the fiscal year, whatever, you know, the budget is $33,000, like everybody had stated. It wasn't necessarily built to gain profit, but I do think $33,000 is a very cheap insurance policy for teenage kids running around wreaking havoc on the town if they don't have, you know, that's everything, you know, the tennis courts, the walking track. Like Mr. McCall was talking about, the playground was a nice improvement. I think we do need to keep making improvements. And as Cliff was talking about, I do agree with what he said as far as the adults don't have anywhere to sit. Maybe it's possible for the county to tear the back of the fence down behind the pool and concrete that, you know, and make a solid foundation as a recreation area and plant some trees or put some more, put a partial pavilion back there for adults to enjoy it and leave the original pool. It definitely sounds like it is cheaper to repair the existing pool, you know, regardless of, you know, obviously getting rid of the liabilities, but, you know, sewing those up. But it is cheaper to repair the existing pool than to dig a completely different one, because I read in the paper also, it said that could be upwards of $410,000. If you could fix it for $100,000 or less, or $150,000, and, you know, get 15 more years out of it, why wouldn't you do that? You know, by then your county budgets will be increased, and then you guys can build a whole nother pool and flying, you know, with flying colors with no problem whatsoever. But I do believe that it's an insurance policy. Our kids don't have enough to do. You know, I'm kind of envious of the older generation. You guys had movie theaters here, you had skating rinks, you know, all these cool places and everything. You know, you go out on the weekends, have something to do, you know, drive-in movies. There's nothing out here anymore. So we definitely need to keep what we have here in this county. And I do believe that it needs to be fixed. And if it is possible to keep it open for 2026, if you can get somebody out there. I know, like you said, I understand government and politics takes a long time to make progress. Construction and government are two different things. I agree with that 100%. I've seen it. But I do believe there's a solution here, and I think that everybody can come together as a community and work with this and find a creative solution for it.
Thank you, sir. And I encourage you as well to come on the 13th if you'd like to the Parks and Rec meeting.
Thank you.
Thank you. Does anybody on the commission have anything to add? Jerry?
I just wanted to ask, is it possible to get some professional people to come in and look at it and tell us what they think about it?
I believe that's been done, hasn't it not, Cliff? Cliff has had that done. That's when the recommendation came for it, the current condition that it is in. The water has leaked underneath it for so many years. It's not just a leak that somebody discovered and fixed. It was Band-Aided up and it was allowed to continue for a very long time. That's why the water's traveled all the way over to our tennis courts and tore them all to pieces as well. Does anybody else have anything? All right, if there's,
I
if
do
this-
one thing.
yes, Judy.
I just hate to leave it where, oh, we'll hopefully do it the next year. I think, things get put off and put off and put off and put off. If it could be set in stone, that will bring it back up and actually work on, we need to start working now on getting the pool for 2 summers from now. So if something could be put in place now to start that process, get the money together, investigate money.
Ma'am, I do believe that that's what the mayor covered earlier in his statement on this, is that the park plan will be updated and then we will pursue going to TDEC and
Right.
the other, that plan is in place right now.
It's in 5 years.
Thank you. So at this time, I'd like to have a motion from the commission on this. We're going to vote to close for the 26th season or not, but I mean, this is where, right now, we're at the point where we're needing a motion to move forward.
Are we gonna put this off till after the Parks and Rec meets again, or is that, I don't know what's gonna come out of.
Yeah, tonight, we're here to make a decision at this point, so.
Decision, I think that's the whole commission, and that's the reason I wanted to bring it to the whole commission.
Yes, Alan.
Oh, aren't we basically too late? If we don't decide to shut it down for next year, aren't we already too late to fix it for next year?
Mr. Saley could answer that one.
Is that to fix it or to repair it as a holdover for one more summer, or is that for a new one?
Okay, so at this time, I'm sorry, Chris.
The quotes we had back in, at the beginning earlier this year for basically, for digging out and replacing replacing what was in there, the committee was told that could be done within about a 5-6 week period, depending on weather. If we wanted to go that route, I think there would be time. I think the point in bringing it up here was to get some direction from the commission. And, I think one of the members of the public, had mentioned sending it back to committee, which is fine. But if it does go back to committee, it needs to come with a directive, either find a way to open it in 26 or or look at it or forget 26 and start looking at ways for 27, whatever that directive is.
Does anybody else have anything? I can't go, this is for the floor right now, right here. Go ahead. It was open for bid. Cliff, can you answer how many we got back legitimately? And refurbishing this pool again is a Band-Aid. It isn't a permanent fix. It's just a Band-Aid for a few more years. That's where we're at, and it's at that point. So anyway, at this juncture, again, I'm looking for a motion from the commission to see what we do with this. Is there, what direction are we going?
I make a motion to close it for the 26th season.
I'll second.
We do have a motion and a second on this. You will please record your on your devices. Again, this is to close it only for the 26th season as we investigate what we can do further.
Mr. Chairman?
Yes.
I'd ask for a roll call vote on this, that way every member of the public can see who voted which way.
I can tell you right now that the electronic votes are a roll call and they are published, sir. Is there anybody else that would like to add to that?
Mr. Chairman, how?
Yes, sir.
The fact that it keeps getting brought up when it's inconvenient for us to have a roll call vote when these electronic devices, the money's been spent for them to be here, I think it's uncalled for, and I think it lacks tact.
Yeah. If we can, please, everybody, let's record your votes on your devices. Everybody, the results are in. We have 13 yes, 4 no, and 2 abstain with cause. So it carries. We will be closing it for the 26th season while we investigate what we can do further, what the county can afford, and what we can actually get done. Thank you.
Mr. Chair,
Yes, Beverly.
may I speak?
Yes, please.
I would just like to say that this is not the first time that this has came in front of us, and this is probably not going to be the last time until we find a new area for this. I know the pool has had to be closed multiple times before because of leaks and stuff like that, so forth. So I am glad that the Park and Rec brought it before the full commission and didn't leave it solely on them, that it went as a whole. Thank you.
Does anybody else have anything they'd like to address? I'm sorry. No? Okay. Has anybody from the public signed up to speak? I don't see it on the list here regarding any other things. Does anybody would like to come forward from the public other that hasn't spoke already? Okay. At this point in time, everybody, I'd like to entertain a motion to adjourn.
Motion to adjourn.
Yes. Got a second, Brenda? All in favor? Thank you. Be careful going home, everybody. Thank you for your time.